So, what do we fear the most that causes us unnecessary suffering? Think about that. It's a real simple concept. We fear. So, what is it we fear most? Well, because of our ego, we basically fear not getting what we want or getting what we don't want. Take those two concepts, put them in your mind, and examine your day yesterday. What did you really want? And did you fear not getting it? Or what did you not want and fear not getting it or getting it? We had an interesting situation in our house. We've got a almost 8-month-old yellow lab female puppy. And she had this toy. And this toy was long thing and it was cloth, and in parts of it were little squeaky toys, and she would pull on it and tug a war, then she would squeak it and that type of thing. Well, yesterday she ripped one of the things, the cloth things apart and got the squeaky thing. And she's running around with it in her mouth. And I saw that and I went chasing her. And before I could get to her, she swallowed it. Now, this thing is about this big around. And you could see what's happened to my finger, the red thing. So I grabbed her. I reached in to her throat. I couldn't reach down. I could feel it there. And I called my son, Steve, and he came out. He held her, and I reached in. And I was in fear. I was in fear she was going to swallow it. She was going to choke, or something awful was going to happen. And I had fear. I didn't want her to have surgery. I didn't want her to die. And so Stephen and I immediately drove to the emergency vet, got in the emergency vet, told them they were going to induce her to vomit, to cough it up. Well, a fear of surgery left me when I found that out. I talked to our friend Nikki, who's a vet, and she told us they're just going to induce that. And then my wife texted me just as they're about to induce the vomiting. We're in the waiting room, and she says, "Lee, I found the squeaky thing. She'd coughed it up while I was reaching. I reached into her throat. Well, I wasn't looking when she turned to the side, and it came out." And so I went into the vet. I opened the door and back. I said, "Don't do it to her. Don't put it in. We found the squeaky toy." And the vet goes, "Oh, well, congratulations." And she let us just leave and go home. I had a lot of fear. I had a lot of fear because I was fearing what I didn't want. And all that fear was unnecessary. It's an interesting concept, but you can take it. It doesn't have to be that big of an example. It could be that, oh my God, I didn't get flowers from my partner. And we build it up. You're there. I wonder if he's going to get me flowers. I wonder if she's going to get me flowers. And you start building this, and you start building up a fear about it. You want it. Or you have a fear, oh my God, am I going to have, when I go to the dentist, am I going to have high blood pressure? I don't want high blood pressure. But we all have fear of the dentist. And what does that do? It causes our blood pressure to go up. So we have fear of not having normal blood pressure. All these fears, they add up, and they take a toll. They take a toll on our sense of well-being. I don't look at living a life that's happy all the time. I've given that up. I realize that's unrealistic. Then you have a fear of not being happy. I choose to have a sense of well-being. That means I know that my life is always imbalanced. So I look back at yesterday, and yesterday our in-person service as Agape was probably the best I've ever done. I mean, I was tapped in a way that I just felt, not only as I talked, when I did my guided meditation, when I did a prayer with someone at the end, I felt incredible. Then I came home. Things were going great. Made myself a great lunch. Then I was playing with my dog, and then bam. Guess what? There's always balance. You're always going to be equally challenged and then equally supported. You just don't see it because you've been domesticated into believing that life can be one way and that you can be happy all the time. The greatest opioid the masses have bought into. Don't be the masses. Be an individual and realize there is balance. And when you can see it, you're going to live with a greater sense of well-being. It's a great day to be alive, and you get to make it so. Much love and aloha.